When you react, you hand your power away. Every insult, every jab, every silent treatment is designed to make you flinch. But the moment you take the bait, the world controls you. And when the world controls you, your peace disappears. What if you didn't react? What if, instead of defending, explaining, shouting, you simply paused? This is not weakness. This is mastery. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And when you finally live by that truth, you become untouchable. Today, we'll walk through 10 timeless Stoic lessons that turn silence into strength, starting with the uncomfortable truth behind reaction itself. This is where control begins. Number 10. When you react, you lose control. When someone provokes you, they don't actually need to overpower you. All they need is for you to react. Every impulsive reaction, every moment you snap, defend, explain, or lash out, is a small surrender. Because in that instant, your emotional control is no longer yours. You've handed it over to them. This is why Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't talking about being passive. He was talking about power. The world constantly throws noise at you. Insults, criticism, manipulation, chaos. But none of those things can touch you unless you let them in. The real power isn't in what happens around you. It's in how you choose to respond. Stoicism teaches that reaction is weakness, but response is mastery. When you react, you let your emotions drive the car. When you stay calm, when you hold your silence, you take the wheel back. The truth is, people who can trigger you, control you. They can shape your mood, shift your energy, and dictate your behavior without ever lifting a finger. But when you stop reacting, the power shifts. The moment you choose silence over impulse, clarity over chaos, calm over ego, that's when you stop being a puppet and start being the one holding the strings. Emotional control is not about suppressing how you feel. It's about understanding what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Because not everything deserves a reaction. Not every fight is worth your peace. And when silence becomes your strength, people start to notice. Your calm presence unsettles their chaos, your stillness becomes louder than their noise, and in a world addicted to reaction, your restraint becomes power. This is where self-mastery begins. This is the power of not reacting. But what happens when silence isn't just your shield, but your weapon? Let's go deeper. Number 9. The 5-second pause that changes everything. There's a tiny space between what happens and how you respond to it. A single breath, a heartbeat, a moment that seems invisible to most. But this is where every battle is either won or lost. Stoic philosophy teaches that when emotion surges, reason retreats. In that flash of anger, fear, or ego, your mind is hijacked. Your reaction becomes automatic, and once again, control slips away. But what if, in that exact moment, you did nothing? No words, no movements, no defense, just 5 seconds of silence. The 5-second pause is not weakness, it's strategy. It's the deliberate act of reclaiming your emotional control before your impulses take the throne. In those 5 seconds, your prefrontal cortex steps in. Logic wakes up, clarity returns. And instead of reacting, you respond. Marcus Aurelius lived by this. Epictetus reminded his students that power lies not in events themselves, but in the judgment we attach to them. That pause is where judgment is formed. That pause is where your strength is forged. Think of every moment you've ever regretted saying something in anger. It happened because you spoke before pausing. 5 seconds could have changed everything. This is the Stoic mindset in action. Calm under pressure, clarity in chaos, stillness in the storm. When the world provokes, you breathe. When they expect a reaction, you give them silence. And in that silence, your power grows. Because silence is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of strength. It disrupts their rhythm. It confuses their expectations. And it reminds both of you that your inner world belongs to you alone. The 5-second pause is simple, but practiced over time, it becomes a shield and eventually a sword. Next, we'll explore how silence stops being just protection and becomes a weapon. Number 8. Silence is a strategy, not surrender. Most people think silence means defeat, that if you don't speak, you've lost. But in truth, silence is not surrender. It's strategy. And in a noisy world, the one who speaks less often holds the most power. When someone tries to provoke you, they're fishing for a reaction. They want your words, your energy, your emotional control. They want to pull you into their storm. But when you give them nothing, no anger, no defense, no response, the storm dies in their hands. Stoicism has always understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote about keeping the mind calm even when the world is loud. Because true strength is not proven by how loudly you shout, but by how steadily you stand. Silence unsettles people who expect to control you. It forces them to face themselves. The power of silence isn't just in what you withhold, it's in what you reveal. You reveal composure. You reveal discipline. You reveal that no external chaos can shake your inner peace. This is emotional intelligence in its purest form. Because silence allows the noise to pass without letting it live inside you. It gives you time, space, perspective. It turns heated moments into powerless echoes. Every word you don't say becomes a statement in itself. Every reaction you refuse to give becomes proof of your strength. And when the other side realizes they can't pull you into their chaos, they lose control of the game. Silence is a choice, not a weakness, not avoidance. A conscious decision to protect your peace, and the world starts to notice, because in a room full of noise, the calm one commands attention. This is the Stoic mindset in action, mastering yourself, not the crowd. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Not all battles deserve your presence. And the most powerful voice you'll ever have is the one you choose not to use. Number 7. Not everything deserves your energy. Your energy is your most valuable currency, and yet most people spend it like it's unlimited, wasting it on battles that never should have been fought in the first place. Every argument you step into, every provocation you respond to, every petty conflict you entertain, it costs you. Not just time, not just attention. It costs you emotional control, clarity, and peace of mind. Stoicism teaches that your peace is sacred. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily not to be disturbed by what he couldn't control, and that includes other people's chaos. Because not everything deserves your energy. The world will try to pull you in. Someone will make a passive-aggressive comment. Someone else will throw a subtle insult. Some will argue not to seek truth, but to drain your strength. If you react to everything, you'll end up fighting endless battles while making no real progress. The Stoic mindset is about choosing your battles wisely. or choosing none at all. Every time you decide not to react, you're not being weak. You're being strategic. You're preserving energy for what truly matters. Think about it. If your attention is constantly hijacked by meaningless drama, how can you build anything meaningful? If your peace is always up for negotiation, how can you lead your own life? Silence in moments of provocation is a way of saying, I refuse to give you what you want. It's a reminder that your energy belongs to you, and you decide where it goes. When you stop reacting to every spark, you stop living in other people's stories, and you start living in your own. This is emotional intelligence at its highest level. Real strength isn't found in how loud you fight. It's in how calm you stay. The people who conserve their energy are the ones who win the long game. Because power isn't about controlling everything. It's about controlling yourself. And once you understand the hidden cost of reaction, walking away becomes effortless. The real winners, they stay calm. Number 6, the calm mind always leads. In every room, in every conflict, in every storm, the calmest person always holds the most power. Not because they shout the loudest, not because they control others, but because they control themselves. Calm is magnetic. When others panic, the one who stays grounded becomes the anchor. When others raise their voices, the one who speaks slowly commands the space. And when everyone reacts, the one who doesn't leads. This is not just a modern insight. It's ancient Stoic philosophy in motion. Marcus Aurelius led an empire in chaos, and yet his strength didn't come from brute force. It came from emotional control, from the ability to keep his mind clear when others lost theirs. A calm mind sees clearly. It makes better decisions. It doesn't get swept away by impulse, ego, or noise. And people trust calm because calm signals strength. But here's the catch. Reacting is a habit. The urge to defend, attack, prove yourself, it's built into your nervous system. And if you don't train your mind, your reactions will lead and you'll follow. The Stoic mindset flips that script. Instead of being pulled by emotion, you become the observer of it. Instead of reacting, you choose when and if to respond at all. Calm doesn't mean passive, it means intentional. It means your actions come from clarity, not chaos. It means you lead yourself first, and by doing that, others naturally follow. When silence enters a noisy room, it shifts the energy. When someone refuses to react, it changes the entire dynamic. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. The calm mind always leads, not because it wants control over others, but because it refuses to lose control of itself. And once you master that, leadership stops being something you chase. It becomes something you naturally embody. But to lead your mind, you first have to unlearn your habits of reaction. Number 5, reaction is habit, response is power. Most people don't actually choose their reactions. They fire automatically, like sparks from dry wood. A sharp word, a cold look, a careless comment, and suddenly anger or pride or fear takes over. That's not power. That's programming. Reaction is a habit. It's your nervous system's shortcut, a way to defend your ego before your mind even has time to think. But Stoicism teaches something different. You may not control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. And that response is where your power lives. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, war, and endless political games, yet he trained himself to pause, to create space between the trigger and the response, because in that space, you regain control of your mind, and control of your mind is control of your life. Think about the last time you regretted overreacting. You didn't decide to explode. It just happened. That's habit. But when you learn to pause, even for a few seconds, something shifts. You give logic room to breathe. You let emotional control step in. You turn reaction into response. This is the Stoic mindset in action. It's not about suppressing emotion, it's about mastering it. Training your instinct to serve your clarity, not your ego. Because the ego is the silent enemy. It whispers that you need to prove yourself, defend yourself, win every battle. But the more you listen to it, the more it controls you. Real power is quiet. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to prove. It simply chooses with intention. When you replace reaction with response, people feel it. They can't manipulate your mood, they can't pull your strings, and you stop being predictable, which makes you powerful. Reaction is impulse, response is mastery. One gives your power away, the other builds it. And the moment you choose to rewire that instinct, your silence becomes louder than any reaction could ever be. To do that, though, you have to confront what's driving those reactions in the first place: your ego. Number 4, ego is the hidden trigger. Every reaction begins with a trigger. But behind every trigger, there's something even deeper. It's not the insult, it's not the situation, it's your ego. Ego is the silent voice that whispers, "They disrespected you. You can't let them talk to you like that. You need to prove your worth." And the moment you listen to it, emotional control slips through your fingers. This is why Stoicism is so powerful. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to detach from his ego, to see things as they are, not as his pride wanted them to be. Because the ego is reactive. It feeds on validation, attention, and control. And when it's threatened, it strikes back. Fast. Most conflicts are not about what's happening on the surface. They're about bruised pride. They're about the ego trying to defend its image. And the more you feed that urge, the more you become its servant. But here's the truth. When you learn to step back and observe the ego instead of obeying it, something changes. You stop needing to win every argument. You stop craving to prove your worth. You stop reacting to everything that challenges your pride. This is emotional intelligence in its purest form. Because true strength isn't about defending the ego, it's about transcending it. When silence replaces the ego's impulse, chaos loses its grip on you. You stop being pulled by other people's words. You stop being controlled by your own pride. And in that stillness, your Stoic mindset is forged. The ego will always whisper. But you decide whether to listen. And when you don't, you become unshakable. Ego is the hidden trigger behind emotional reactivity. And Stoicism is the key that sets you free. Next, we'll explore how to train your awareness like a Stoic warrior, so you can see the trigger before it controls you. Number 3. Awareness is your first line of defense. You can't control what you can't see. That's why most reactions feel automatic, because they begin before you even notice them. But the moment you see the trigger, everything changes. Awareness is your first line of defense. It's the space where emotional control is either lost or claimed. When someone insults you, when life throws chaos your way, your body reacts instantly. A rush of heat, tension in the chest, a tightening in the jaw. That's the trigger knocking at your door. Most people open that door without thinking. They let the emotions storm in and take over. But Stoicism teaches something different. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to observe those moments, to notice the spark before it became a fire. Because if you can recognize the feeling as it rises, you can choose whether to feed it or let it pass. This is the Stoic mindset in real time. It's not about becoming numb, it's about becoming aware. Every time you catch yourself before reacting, you build inner strength. Every second of awareness is a moment of power reclaimed. Emotional triggers lose their grip the moment they're exposed to the light of awareness. And the more often you do it, the faster you'll see them coming. Anger, pride, fear, they're not enemies to destroy, but signals to observe. But here's the truth. Awareness alone isn't enough. It shows you the storm, but it doesn't stop it. That's where discipline comes in, because even the strongest awareness is useless without the strength to act on it. Awareness is the first line. Discipline is the shield. And together they make you untouchable. Learn to notice the spark, and you'll never be consumed by the fire again. Next, we'll explore how discipline turns that awareness into unshakable power. Number 2, discipline turns silence into power. Awareness shows you the trigger, but discipline decides what happens next. This is the moment where silence stops being just a pause and starts becoming power. Discipline is what keeps your calm steady when your ego is screaming to react. It's what lets you stay silent when every impulse inside you wants to fight back. And it's what transforms emotional control from a fragile idea into unshakable strength. Stoicism has always emphasized discipline as the foundation of self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius didn't just preach calmness, he practiced it every single day, in the face of war, betrayal, and chaos. He understood that silence without discipline collapses under pressure. But silence, fortified by discipline, becomes unbreakable. Every time you choose not to react, you're training your mind like a muscle. At first, it's hard. Your thoughts race, your heart pounds. But the more you hold that line, the stronger you get. Discipline doesn't mean you don't feel emotion. It means you don't let emotion control you. It means your response comes from clarity, not chaos. And when you do this consistently, something powerful happens. Your presence changes. People can feel when someone is not easily moved. They sense it, they respect it. Your silence starts to speak louder than any words ever could, and your calm presence becomes influence. Because real power isn't about proving yourself in every battle. It's about having the discipline to walk away from battles that don't deserve you. It's about mastering your reactions so deeply that no one else can dictate your energy. This is the quiet strength at the heart of the Stoic mindset. Emotional intelligence, self-restraint, and inner peace working as one. Discipline doesn't silence your voice. It amplifies your power. And when silence is backed by discipline, you stop being reactive and start being untouchable. And finally, beyond discipline, beyond silence, lies the highest level of not reacting. Number 1, untouchable, becoming the still point in the storm. There's a level of strength beyond silence, beyond discipline, beyond reaction. It's the place where you become untouchable, not because the world stops testing you, but because nothing it throws your way can shake your center. This is the highest level of Stoicism, the still point in the storm, the calm within the chaos. Most people live like leaves in the wind. Every insult, every inconvenience, every opinion tosses them around like they have no control over their own emotions. But the Stoic chooses a different path. Instead of being carried by the storm, they become the mountain the wind crashes against. This state isn't built overnight. It's forged through awareness, through discipline, through choosing response over reaction again and again, until your peace becomes non-negotiable. It's not about being emotionless. It's about owning your emotions so completely that no one else can use them against you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That strength is what makes a person unshakable, untouchable, free. When your calm becomes your default, people feel it. Their attempts to provoke you fall flat. Their chaos loses its power. Because what can you take from someone who's not reacting? What can you control in someone who has already mastered themselves? This is the quiet revolution Stoicism invites you to lead, not by force, but by presence. When others shout, you stand still. When the world burns, you remain centered. And in that stillness lies real power. Becoming untouchable doesn't mean you escape the storm. It means the storm no longer defines you. You define you. Your peace is your responsibility. Your control is your weapon. This is the Stoic state where nothing external dictates your inner world. It's the final stage of emotional mastery. The place where silence isn't just power, it's freedom. And now it's a call to practice, to rise above, to become the still point in the storm. In the end, Stoicism isn't about being cold. It's not about shutting out the world or pretending emotions don't exist. It's about reclaiming the one thing no one can ever take from you: your inner control. When you stop reacting, you stop handing your power away. You become calm in the face of chaos, clear in the middle of noise, and untouchable when the world tries to shake you. Every silence you choose is a decision to rise above. Every moment you hold your ground is another step toward mastery. And every storm you outlast makes you stronger. This is the heart of Stoic power, quiet, unshakable, disciplined. The world doesn't change, you do. And when you change, everything else starts to follow. If this message resonates with you, remember, mastery isn't built in a day. It's practiced, breath by breath, choice by choice. Thank you for walking this path with me. Stay calm, stay aware, and most of all, stay untouchable.